Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with a new chapter. The name of the chapter is The Tiny Teacher. So, this is basically a chapter about the tiniest creature that you would ever think of. So, can you guess what may be the name of the insect? Yes, that is an ant. The most common and the smallest insect is an ant. It is the wisest among other insects. It gives us the most important life lessons. It is extremely hardworking and manages its day to day work in a non interfering manner with mutual harmony, support, cooperation, and understanding. We will see the chapter The Tiny Teacher depicts the dedication of the smallest creature towards their duty assigned to them to perform in a very sincere way. Being a hardworking and intelligent creature, we will see how they live in a systematic way, how they perform their duties in the form of the cleaners, nurses, workers, soldiers, and trainers. So, after reading this chapter, we can understand why are the ants called the tiniest teacher to mankind, and what are the significant lessons that we can take from them. Here you can see some facts about the text that we are going to read now. Here it is written that the ants are very small but intelligent and hardworking. Among the various kinds, the commonest ant is black or red. Ants live in comfortable homes called ant hills. Let us begin with the first paragraph. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it the fly? No, it isn't. Is it the mosquito? No, not the mosquito. Then it must be the worm. No, none of this. It is the ant, the commonest, the smallest, but the wisest insect. So, we can see that the first paragraph begins with a question, although the answer is given by the narrator himself. He asks, which is the smallest and the wisest insect that we see in our daily life? He himself gives several answers like fly, mosquito, worm, and again he himself dismisses all these and concludes that the ant is the commonest, the smallest, and the wisest insect. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue. Now, as we read the story, we may feel that the story of the ant's life is not real, it is imaginary. They live their life so systematically that we may think that it is not real. But people have kept ants as pets and have watched their daily behavior closely. So, we know a number of facts about this tiny, hardworking, and intelligent creature. Now, the question is, how can we believe that it is true? We have to believe it, as there are some people who have studied the behavior and the activities of this hardworking creature and have even kept them as pets. So, because of their research and study, after reading this chapter, we come to know a number of facts about them. Now, let us move to the second paragraph. An ant uses its feelers or antennae to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the wall. Each ant greets all the others coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. You might have watched that ants always move in a row. In fact, they move in a proper row, up and down the wall. But have you noticed that each ant greets other ants coming from the other side by touching their antennas? Can you guess why do they do this? Yes, this is in order to communicate with each other, in order to talk with each other. Now let us move to the third paragraph. There are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are the black or red ones. We have seen them since we were children, but haven't paid enough attention to them. So, in the third paragraph, the narrator tells us about the kinds of ants. So, how many kinds of ants are there? There are many kinds of ants, but the commonest are the black and the red ones. We have seen these two kinds of ants since our childhood. But have you paid attention to them or watched them closely? Maybe you have paid attention to them, but not so sincerely, not so seriously. Where do they live? Have you ever think of them? That where do they live? Do they have any comfortable house or not? No, we have not ever think of that. In their comfortable homes called nests or ant hills. So the ants have comfortable house and it is called nests or ant hills. Ant hills is commonly found in kitchen garden or, or in a huge field of land. It is just a mound of soil. But what is there inside it? You will be surprised to know that each anthill has hundreds of little rooms and passages. The way to move. Each has hundreds of little rooms and passages. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lay eggs. So, there are hundreds of rooms, passages for the ants to move from here to there. And in some of these rooms, the queen ant lays eggs. Maybe the queen ant, as she is queen, she uses the superior rooms or the bigger rooms for the purpose of laying eggs. Others are nurseries for the young ones called grubs. So grubs means young ant. So the other rooms are the nursery for the young ones where the young ants are brought up with care. Workers have their reserved quarters. They spend most of their time searching for food. Some rooms serve as storehouses for this food. So, can you imagine that even the worker ants have separate rooms and they have separate job. Their job is to search for food, and there are separate room also to keep those food as store. So this particular house that the ants use to store the collected food is just like our storehouses. So just like human beings keep extra things in storehouses, the ants also use storehouses to keep the collected food. Soldiers have separate barracks. No worker has ever tried to live in a soldier's house. No soldier has ever gone out searching for food. So, it is amazing that even the soldiers had separate rooms and the common ants are not allowed to enter that area. Just like the common people are not allowed to enter the military area or the military bases. No worker, no soldier or cleaner has ever harmed a grub. Cleaner? Yes, cleaner. So, from the word cleaner, we can understand that there are ants who are cleaners. They keep their surrounding hygienic. So, they are the cleaner ants. They clean and maintain the hygiene of the ant hills. So, you can imagine the mound of the soil that is the ant hill, how systematically built up by these tiny creatures who live in an anthill. So, no worker or soldier or cleaner has ever harmed a grub. So, no ant ever harm the grub or the young ant. The unity and loving thing about the ants is that they never harm their young ones. All the ants look after them, and the love and affection is the most important thing. They care their newborn babies just as the human beings do. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely and never fights with other members of the group. So all the members of the ant groups have divided their works. There are workers who go outside in search of food. There are soldiers. There are cleaners who keep the anthill hygiene and maintain the cleanliness. So, and as they do not interfere in each other's work, and as they work with coordination, love, affection, they lead a very peaceful life and they never fight with other members of the group. So, what are the facts that we come to know in this part of the chapter. Let us recap in short. An ant uses its feelers or antennae to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Each ant greets all other ants coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. There are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are the black and the red ones. They live in their comfortable homes called nests or ant hills. Each ant hill has hundreds of little rooms and passages which are used for specific purposes that depict their perfectly organized and meticulous living. Some rooms in an ant hill are reserved for the queen ant to lay eggs. Some rooms serve as nurseries for the baby ants. There are separate rooms for worker ants. Some rooms are used to store food. There are separate barracks for soldier ants. The rooms are clearly demarcated and no one fights over the rooms allocated to them. The roles of the ants are well defined. No ant interferes with the duties assigned to others. Each ant does its share of work wisely, bravely, and without fighting with other members of the group. In fact, ants believe in a harmonious and peaceful coexistence. So, read this chapter carefully and understand these facts. We will come to know about the life of ants in the next video. Till then, take care.